See, I would give y'all something to talk about, but I hear it's hard to talk with a dick in your fucking mouth. So, to all my preoccupied critics who chase balls for fun and ride more sticks than Quidditch, quit it. See that y'all just leave me three. Myself, I, and me, just leave me be. Cause I'm screaming fuck you like ODB and throwing on one of Slim Shady's OCDs. Then punching myself in the face and blacking out in a fit of anger. And come to running down the street screaming out danger, danger. On fire like liar, liar or Richard Pryor. Looking for a sexual contract to hire. Now she's sitting next to me and I can smell her STDs while I'm doing PCP off of this DMX CD. So there, I said all my flaws in one verse. So go ahead and talk, y'all can't do no worse. Cease.
I'm a hopeless romantic, trapped inside the mind of a pessimist. I'm hesitant, never living for the present tense. Think about the moment then it passes. Scared to take flight for the moment that it crashes. That's no way to live. She said that's no way to love. There's nowhere to run, there's no way but up. So don't run for me or you'll run out of luck.
Roberto Batalla, aka Beto, aka CeaseLess, aka Old Dirty Master. Holla at me, we're in the house. Straight out of Wilmington on the west side. Crazy city, no sleep for the wicked. Real crazy city, actually, because yesterday somebody got shot in the head on the corner. Rest in peace to that person. And today I got woken up by some lady trying to run over two fucking fools in a car. Which that one was slightly more funnier. Because they were running like little bitches.
You got quite a dark sense of humor there.
No, the world has a dark sense of humor. I just laugh at it. So I first started writing when I was probably about, I think I was like 8 years old. I remember because I broke my collarbone playing kickball in the church parking lot. And one of my mom's coworkers gave me a stuffed animal and like a miniature notebook that had some like race cars on it. And I remember the first thing that I ever wrote was a socially conscious rap about people dying from like police brutality. And this is when I was like 8 years old. And the reason that I wrote that was because I was like the biggest Tupac fan. I wish I still had that. I know I have it somewhere. I just haven't seen it in years. Whew, how to get involved in MIC. The short version of that is I met Mike B. Minor, when I was probably about 14 or 15 years old. I think it was my freshman year in high school. And we met because we were both in the same class. And he had gotten kicked out of the school that he was at. And he got transferred to my school. And we did not like each other for the longest time.
Why?
He came in thinking that he was going to be like ordering people around. And I remember he came in and into my class and it was a stage crew class. So we had to do the stage production for different performing arts plays. And he came in and he was like, hey, paint this. And I was like, hey, fuck you. I don't know who you are. Like, I don't know you at all. He came in the second semester and we had already been there for like a half a year. And he was like, do this. And I was like, all right, well, I'm not going to do that shit. And I studied and I like went back to the homies, kicking it with the hoodlums in the corner, just talking about like bitches and smoking and stuff. And then I thought I had it in my mind, because I'm hard-headed. I had it in my mind that I was not going to like this fool forever. I was like, first impressions are really big. I was like, I am not going to like this person. And then slowly but surely, we had to work together in that same class for the next 4 years. And by the time we left high school, we were really close. We were really close. I remember I was there when his first kid was born. Him and his girl and me and my girl were always like attached at the hip for the longest time. And yeah, and ever since then, yeah, we've been really good friends. MIC, it's I guess it's cliche as fuck to say, but it's like a family because we've for the most part, we've all known each other for so long. Me and Mike go back now probably, what is that? Almost 15 years or something like that. Me and Tombstone go back probably about 15 or so. And then the rest of them I've known for about 10 years now. So it's just, it really started out just being a group of friends that wanted to make music together. And then over the years, it kind of snowballed into us really trying to do this music thing and helping out each other. That's the good part. We're all so connected that we all help each other out, which is the good part of it being such a big collective. When, you know, if you have a certain style that you're going for in one of your songs, whether it be the lyrics or the production, there's always somebody there that's like, oh, I want this style on it, or I want this production. And it always just seems to work out so easily. I feel like everybody else in MIC does their part in being like the serious people. And I like to keep my music light. I like to laugh. You know, I like to have fun. I wanted to, for my personality and my lifestyle to come across in my music for people who don't know me, maybe for the person who's hearing me for the first time. I want them to be like, this fool seems like somebody I want to kick it with. So I like to keep my music fun. I like people to laugh and enjoy themselves. I want people to be listening to this shit when they're high, when they're drunk, when they're sober and they're just trying to have a good time. I just want it to be fun. You know what? I get that a lot, and it's funny because I don't really see it. I don't know if it's because I don't know if it's really because I grew up in LA and it's just like that's the only thing I know. I grew up, it's like the melting pot of the world. So I grew up with black people and Asians and Mexicans and just white people, everything. So people always feel more unusual about from their perspective than I do from mine. Because whenever I meet up with them, whenever I go out, I'm not thinking like, oh, I'm the only Mexican, I'm the only Chicano. It's like, it's just the homies. Like, there's never been a problem. There never will be a problem. Of course, we shoot on each other. That's the only place that I wish there was more Mexicans than MIC. Because whenever I make some black jokes, it's like 8 against 1. And then I get like the onslaught of Mexican jokes. And I'm like, shit, I'm like, cuckoo, where my backup at? And there's like 0 backup. Luckily, I'm loud as fuck. And I like to talk shit. So I'm like, I got my own back enough for everybody else.
Cool.
This shit tastes stronger and stronger every sip.
Yep, every sip. What do you have? What are you drinking on?
I'm drinking on a bottle of 400 Conejos Mezcal. Fucking straight from Oaxaca, Mexico. Shout out to my brother Easy. Just came back from work in Mexico in TJ. And he got this big ass bottle of mezcal that you guys are going to see me progressively get more and more drunker on. Lucky me.
Who or what inspires you? Besides alcohol.
It's not so much of a who. I guess it's more of a what, because especially being Chicano and being an MC, it's like we don't have that many people to go off of. We got nobody in the mainstream. In the underground, you have like Chicano hip hop, so you have like Little Rob or Fora or those guys, but it's like off the mainstream, there's not really a lane specifically for Chicanos, which some might think is a bad thing, but I actually look at it as a good thing because it's like nobody knows my point of view. So I can really do whatever I want and nobody's already heard that shit. So it's more of like what really inspires me and challenges me when I'm making music is the writing process itself. Like I've always loved language and like wanted to be like a linguist and study words and all that. So it's like I really just have so much fun with the process of being by myself and trying to figure out the puzzle of this beat to see what would sound perfect for that specific song. Yeah, you get never sober. You gave me this fucking sedity ass cup.
Gave you some character.
There's not a song that got me into music, but definitely the first artist that really got me into hip hop was Tupac. He's I know anybody watching this shit as a Chicano that grew up in the hood can relate to that shit, because fucking we love Pac like he's Chicano, because he was the first one to give us a voice mainstream. Even though he's black, he was the first one to give us a voice where he shouted out Mexicans in a shit ton of songs. He was talking about the barrio like it was the ghetto, because he knew all those people. It was so good. He was like the epitome of a Chicano artist, even though he was black, which doesn't really make that much sense. But man, he was like my idol growing up. Probably still to this day, music wise. He's not the best lyricist, and our songs, our genre and type subgenres of music don't really coincide with each other. But for sure, he was my first inspiration. Which makes sense with the story that I told earlier about my first rap being as an 8-year-old, being about people dying in the hood. Like, I was 8 years old. Like, I grew up in the hood, so I knew about that shit, but I was 8, so I didn't really know about that. But I was really just trying to imitate Tupac.